Hey everyone, Brendan Sander here. How are you? Thanks so much for joining me and welcome to a Black Sabbath Ozzy era CD collection run through. So the band itself, which started in '68, put out 9 studio albums with Ozzy, but I've got 18 things in my collection here, CDs, box set, even a Blu-ray that's got a CD included in it. And I don't know about you guys, but with the passing of Ozzy Osbourne on July 22nd of 2025, I've been listening to all my Ozzy solo, Black Sabbath stuff that has Ozzy on it, watching the movies and videos and live stuff that I have on it, but just taking it all in. And so I thought it'd be fun to do this run through of the whole Black Sabbath collection, but of the Ozzy era. We're going to dive into that here in just a bit. Before we start though, if you're new to my channel and haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things do help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, if you turn on notifications, you won't miss anything like this episode here, and you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on this channel right here. Like this, with a cool Black Sabbath Ozzy era CD collection run through. So as I mentioned, band starts in '68, but they put out their debut album, the self-titled masterpiece of an album right here in 1970. And so this version of it here is a 2 CD deluxe edition of it. And they did a really great job when they were doing this version here, pulling out all the great archival shots and whatnot. But for me, it's the bonus disc. The reason that I traded up to get this one here was the alternate editions, the outtake versions of songs that are on here that made it worthwhile. So I like having all that extra bonus content, and they did that for a number of these albums. I hope they go on to do it for every album, but right now we only have the first 3 albums that really do that. And so the second album, Paranoid, which was also 1970, this album here I think is actually the penultimate Black Sabbath album. I would rank this one at number 1. In fact, I have when I've done my Black Sabbath rankings. I mean, the album itself kicks off with War Pigs. It goes into the title track, Paranoid. Planet Caravan, I think, is a totally underrated killer acoustic number that they do with the rhythmic drumming from Bill Ward. I think is so great. Iron Man is on here. Hand of Doom is on here. So many great tracks. And so this one too is the deluxe edition, which has that second disc, and it's got all instrumental versions of the songs on it, which just really gives you a different way to hear the album. I mean, yes, we love Ozzy, but just hearing the music on it, I thought was a pretty cool thing. And so while we're on that, I also want to show you guys this, the box set version of Paranoid. And this one here has the album itself, a quadraphonic version of the album, and 2 separate live shows. So one of the shows is at Live at Montreal 1970, and then Live in Brussels also 1970. What I really liked about this is, if I can get to it fast enough in here, is it came with a little tour book from the tour. And I thought that was cool. I love these little replicas when they throw them into the box set. There's a cool shot, here we go, of the whole band. So the fact that they included that in here alone made it something that I thought was pretty cool. I know a lot of you guys aren't necessarily into the memorabilia stuff, but I am. I love it. I want the music, but I also want the memorabilia stuff that goes with it. Okay, so moving on to the third Black Sabbath album, Master of Reality, is just another fantastic album. This too, a 2 CD deluxe edition of it, but we get songs like Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, Into the Void, so many good ones on here. The bonus disc in this has a number of previously unreleased instrumental, different alternate editions that are on here, but all great stuff. And again, just giving you that different way to hear an album. I think we're going to see a lot more of this since Ozzy has passed, but they started that with those first 3. And we're waiting on it for the last, 5 albums. So we're going to move on to Volume 4. Just another great album. I mean, did Black Sabbath ever make a bad album? In my opinion, no. But at least their first 4 albums are utterly amazing. Wheels of Confusion, Tomorrow's Dream, Changes, which I know is that song that everyone's covering and playing right now. Supernaut, Snowblind, I mean, great stuff on this thing. I love this. And not quite the detailed packaging as those other ones, but they still have good booklets in them. Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, an absolutely fantastic album. I rank this one pretty high. The title track on here, Sabracadabra, You've got Spiral Architect. I mean, they're not as big names and regularly played songs as those first 3 or 4 albums are. But I actually like some of the later stuff, especially like this with Sabotage. Hole in the Sky, kicking this off is so good. The album cover too, with that picture of the reflections not working right in the mirrors, I always thought was just eerie and cool. Symptom of the Universe, Megalomania, The Writ. I mean, again, a lot of great stuff on that single disc edition. So next is a highly underrated album, Technical Ecstasy. This one really, my love of this really comes from Guns N' Roses covering the song It's All Right. So back in 91, Axl Rose is playing that as the intro to November Rain. And I had no idea that it was a Black Sabbath song until many years later. But when I found out it was, I had to get this album immediately. I've loved it ever since. But another great song off of here, the opening track, Backstreet Kids, and I will always love the song Dirty Women, which they performed live in their reunion show, which is coming up. We'll talk about that one in a little bit when we get to it. And another completely underrated album, Never Say Die. I love this one, and I was so glad that at the Back to the Beginning show, so many great songs from this album were performed. And I think it was Guns N' Roses that did them. Johnny the Blade, Junior's Eyes, Air Dance, all of those great songs. A Hard Road, a number of those were performed, and the song Never Say Die. I don't remember who did that one, but so many good songs off of it, and just really cool album art in my opinion. I've always loved that about this, so I think I was attracted to it. Again, remember, I'm a bit younger. I came into this at a different age after, I came into solo Ozzy first and then went to Black Sabbath, so that's why you're going to hear me talk a lot about these. And I forgot to pull it out when we were talking about it, but I also have the Technical Ecstasy box set. And so while we don't have the 2 CD deluxe edition for Technical Ecstasy, we get a 4 CD edition of this. So the Super Deluxe Edition box set, we get the album itself remastered, right? But what was cool is there was a new mix in here, and I actually think it sounds fantastic. It'll never replace the original, but it's very, very good. We get that on here. Steven Wilson did that. We get an outtakes and alternate mixes and a live 1976-77 show. And I think there was a tour book inside this one. In fact, let's open it and just see if it is. No, there's not. There was not one included. Oh, wait, I take that back. There it is. It's just shaped differently this time. There it is. Yes, there was one. I knew there was one. When they put these things in, it always makes me so happy to get that. Just because these things are so hard to come by. And then there was a regular book in there and poster and whatnot. And they're always doing these packages a little different from one another. And that's what can be confusing when you open it up and you think something's not there, but it actually is. All right, so 2 box sets down, and we got the original run of Ozzy stuff out of the way. Now, after Ozzy's already out of the band, they released this, the Live at Last, which was an unofficial live album from Ozzy. This was by far the best edition of it. It was a Castle Communications, which was later bought by Sanctuary Records, and they put it out. It's got the best artwork and everything from it, and probably the best sound of it too, but it was an unofficial release. Still, gotta have it in the collection even when it's like that. Now, since we're talking about that one, I'm going to jump a little out of sequence and show you Past Lives, which is the official release of the unofficial album. This is now out of print, but this has that first disc. So the first CD in here is the Live at Last. Then they add in a whole bunch of other stuff from that. And so we get that. It is a Sanctuary Records release. And remember, Sanctuary bought Castle Communications. So I think that's why they were allowed to do it. Let's see if it's still in here. Yes, the guitar pick that it comes with is still in here. In fact, I'll just take this out. Look at that. Can you see it? And the backside. That was pretty cool. And I liked the way that they included it in here. And this killer view over here on the side, actually giving it a place to live, because oftentimes they're just stuck in between the booklet and you lose it. But I think they did a great job with that. And this one here, I don't remember the exact year on it. I believe that came out post the reunion as a way to cash in, one of the things that they did. Now I'm going to show you this one too, Between Heaven and Hell, a cool Castle Communications compilation that was put out. And again, remember, Sanctuary buys them. This was 1970 to 1983. So we do get some Dio era and we also get some Ian Gillan era. But the bulk of this from the beginning is all the Ozzy. What I really liked is it does not kick off with the song Black Sabbath, which I think is so overplayed. It's actually in a different order. It kicks off with Hole in the Sky, goes into the Void, Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, NIB, Paranoid War Pigs, Iron Man. It just keeps going. Black Sabbath, the song, is the last song on here. So I really like this compilation. I've chosen to have this one in my collection over many other versions of compilations that have since come out. Now, we're going to go ahead and talk about reunion era, right? They get back together in 1997. I think this comes out around 98, and it's 2 CDs. This has them doing the Technical Ecstasy song Dirty Women on it, which is, again, where I really learned it from and said, man, that is a great song. Where does that come from? And found out it was from the Technical Ecstasy album. And I might have been around that time that it was also the time that I found out about the song It's All Right. But so cool, 2 CDs of this, plus we get 2 new studio songs as part of this. We get the song Psycho Man, which I think is what was released as the single, and Selling My Soul. I never thought they were quite enough Black Sabbath sounding. I thought they were more Ozzy Osbourne solo sounding, but getting them still very good. I can't believe, though, that it took from, I think, 1998 when this came out until 2013 when we finally get the album that we had been waiting for with Ozzy back in the band. So the 9th studio album with this cool lenticular cover on it. And I bought the deluxe edition, so you get the regular album proper and 3 bonus tracks on it, 3 studio bonus tracks on it. Very happy to get that. All just kind of black on the inside, but you know, it's Black Sabbath. So I don't know, as a final album, it's good. I really liked the song Loner, and I liked Zeitgeist and Age of Reason, so I liked later parts of the album, but I never thought End of the Beginning and God is Dead is all that great, but those are the ones that were actually played a lot off of this. And this was about the coolest thing that I think that they could have done. Actually, before I jump to that, I'm gonna show you this. The Blu-ray, which was from the tour called Gathered in Their Masses, there is a CD of songs from the concert. We get the Blu-ray concert, and then we get a single disc CD of stuff in here that not only has the classics, but it also has newer stuff that's on it. And so this is the CD portion of it, and behind the booklet, there's your Blu-ray in here. So we may one day see this as a standalone, and maybe it'll be a 2 CD edition expanded to give us the whole show, because that wasn't the whole show. But there was that. Now, if we're going in order, the band decides that's it, we're hanging it up, farewell show. At the concerts, you could buy this, The End, an EP of 4 studio songs. There were outtakes from this, and they're not the 3 songs that were added here. These are 4 more songs. So we get Season of the Dead, Cry All Night, Take Me Home, Isolated Man, and then they add 4 live songs to this on here. God is Dead, Under the Sun, Into the Beginning, and Age of Reason. So this was a very cool thing that was only available at the concerts. I ended up having to order mine off of eBay because I wasn't able to go to one of the shows to buy this, but I'm so glad I've got it. In fact, now with Ozzy having passed, this has been something I've been listening to a lot because I never really gave it its proper due back in the day. And I would really like if they take the 4 songs off here, the 3 bonus tracks off of this, put them together and release it as an album, another Black Sabbath album, because that stuff is so good. It shouldn't really remain as just bonus tracks, and a lot of those things are now out of print. And the last thing we got from Sabbath was a box set for the End concert. And so from this here, we not only get the album itself, but there's some special features as part of this. The Angelic Sessions, acoustic recordings of The Wizard, Wicked World, Sweet Leaf, Tomorrow's Dream, and Changes. And that in and of itself, I thought was a very cool thing to get this. So the book that's in here, this also came with a cool pin as part of it. You get, guitar picks, backstage pass, all that kind of cool stuff. So there was a lot of cool stuff. So you get the live show, the live recording, but you also get those angelic sessions. So there's a number of cool things that I think somewhere down the road we're going to be seeing get reissued in different formats and ways and maybe fleshed out. But those are the 18 items that I have in my Black Sabbath collection of the Ozzy years. I have the entire Black Sabbath collection featuring all the other singers, Ronnie James Dio, Glenn Hughes, Tony Martin. Did I hit them all? Did I miss one? I hope not. Ronnie James Dio, Ian Gillan, if I didn't say that, Glenn Hughes, Tony Martin. There you go. Now I got them all. So I have that. Maybe I'll put one of those together, but right now I've been so deep into Ozzy and just wanting to remember everything about him and soak it all in and just, thank him essentially for all the great music that we got from him like this in my Black Sabbath Ozzy era collection. So out of that collection and your collection, which of the Ozzy Osbourne Black Sabbath albums is your favorite?